Hello, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Lauren.
And this is I've Got Guts, a podcast about living and thriving with chronic illness.
And all the things that take guts to say out loud.
We're here to talk about the hard stuff, the stuff that's messy, complicated, and often left unsaid.
From chronic illness to everyday life, we're creating space for honest conversations, real connection, and a lot of laughs along the way.
And just so we're clear, we are not medical professionals. We're just two best friends sharing what we've learned and what we're still figuring out.
So you don't have to do it alone.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Here we go. Let's get right into our thorns and roses today. I feel like it's like a joint thorn.
Joint thorn. And the reason we've been absent this week. So I don't know if everybody's noticed, but we kind of have been silent on social media, which is really not like us.
No, it's not. We're always throwing something out there.
Yeah. So, do I have a lot to say about our joint thorn this week?
And I'm just going to chime in as you share.
Last week, my mom got sick and she had a cold, but my mom is 70 years old and she has blood cancer, so she's immunocompromised. And, she didn't really think anything of it. It was a cold at first, but then she let it go on like for 4 or 5 days and she went to urgent care on Saturday. And urgent care did not swab her for COVID, for flu, for RSV, for nothing. They did not do anything. They're just like, it's viral. You'll be fine. And they sent her on her way.
Lovely urgent care. Isn't the name urgent?
Exactly.
You got to go and check off the urgent needs.
Not to mention, don't you look at somebody's, they're 70 years old, they're immunocompromised, she doesn't look well. Nothing.
Right. Any alarms?
So they sent her on her way. And then Saturday night, things got way worse. It turned into a cold, but because it was, when you get a lot of mucus and stuff, she's got mucus going in the back of her throat. So she's throwing up, she's nauseous. And this is when she really stopped eating. Mm-hmm. Then she actually saw her hematologist PA on Monday.
She did not.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know this part.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was an in-person thing. And they were like, you're fine.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Does everybody need to get some glasses?
Yes.
Looking at your mother, she looked not well, poor thing.
So Wednesday rolls around and she has not eaten anything in a week at this point. And she's barely hydrating. I mean, we're talking a cup or two of juice a day, which is nothing when you're throwing up, having diarrhea, sick, whatever. So I call her hematologist's office and I'm like, I don't know the right thing to do here. And I told them everything. And they were like, you need to take her to the hospital right now. We're going to call ahead. So it's a smooth process. And they called the hospital that they are connected to. So in Rochester, we have 2 major healthcare providers. There's Rochester Regional and then there's URMC. So her doctor is Rochester Regional and they're connected to 2 hospitals in Rochester, Rochester General and Unity. And he said, bring her to Rochester General because it's the closest to her house. Now, in the back of my head, I was like, my grandma passed away here. We had a horrific experience there. But this is what her doctor's saying, So I kind of...
Right. You're right. So you're not going to go against what the doctor's saying. And she's also not well. And it's emergency nature. Right. We got to get her to where she needs to be.
Yeah. So I will say I took her there Wednesday night. We did get right in because the doctor called ahead. We got into a private room and the nurses in the emergency department were actually wonderful. They were very on top of things, very attentive or whatever. But almost within a few hours, we knew the situation was bad. She had pneumonia. Because it went on. So when you're sick and it goes on that long, you're immunocompromised. That's what it turns into. And they also thought she maybe had an infection because her white blood cell count was through the roof. So they admit her, but there's no rooms at that point. So she stayed in the emergency room overnight Wednesday night. It was fine. Like I said, they were super attentive there, whatever.
Right. You love the nurses, right?
Right. So Thursday, I go there. By the time I get there Thursday, they're like, we're moving her up to a floor. So as we're getting ready to move her up, they come in, they tell us that the nurse leaves the room. My mom goes, I think I wet myself. And I was like, no way. So they weren't checking her and she'd been sitting there like that all day in her clothing.
Like what?
They put this external catheter on her, but it didn't really work. Suction, it didn't really work that well.
So it was there and she's peeing because she thinks she can, right?
Right.
And then it's not working.
And
So
she's super out of it.
right.
So we finally get her up to the floor she's going to. They clean her up. They put her in a hospital gown. Like, she has a room. Granted, it's a shared room. But let me just tell you, I have never in my life, the filthiness of this room, I felt skeeved out just sitting there. Like, you were there.
I was. Literally, I walk into the room and I pass. First of all, her roommate's name was Mary Ellen, which is really funny because that's my mom's name. Anyway, so I walk in and there's this, if you could visualize a broken old folding chair, but one from like 1932, and the leather was peeling, and there was the stuffing was coming out. You're like, and there's a chair for you over there. I'm like,
you could sit on the portable toilet.
Right, just open there. I'm like, I'll take the ledge on the windowsill.
Yeah.
It was disgusting. And then when you pointed out the crack on the floor, like right around the molding, it was like
filthy. And let me tell you, you didn't go in the bathroom that she had to use. Disgusting. I've never, not clean, gross, just absolutely gross. Like, and then the way they put the sheet on the bed, they like tie it around the edges. So if the sheet's falling off and her body's touching the plastic of the hospital, disgusting. Let me just tell everyone, if you are in the Rochester area, never, with a capital NEVER, go to Rochester General Hospital, because let me tell you, this podcast, we have talked so much about advocating, right?
Yes.
I advocated my effing heart out and it did nothing. And let me tell you the pushback that I got. They mistreated my mom in ways that I'll never get over. They barely ever checked on her once she was up on the floor. Barely. They put an alarm on her bed. And
is that what was the light that was flashing at the bottom?
Yes, but eventually they put one that makes a sound on it.
Oh, Jesus
so
Christ.
In the middle of the night when she has to pee, she rings for them. Nobody comes. So she gets up to go pee herself, or else she's going to pee herself. The alarm goes off. Nobody comes to turn it off for an hour. It's in the middle of the night. And it is like this ear piercing.
And honestly, where the nurse's station was,
right across,
was right there.
But and they kept saying, we're really down staff. And I kept saying, that seems like a you guys problem, not an us problem. Like, these patients should be getting the care that they deserve.
Right.
So then the next issue was they kept switching her nausea medicine on her, right? So they kept giving her Zofran. We advocated. I talked to the doctor. Zofran, not working.
No,
it's like a Skittle.
Right. It's like a Tic Tac.
Yeah, it does nothing for you. So we got her Compazine. It worked. I get there the next day to find out they have given her Reglan. Now, for any of my gastroparesis friends, you know Reglan. You've heard of it. I am a very against Reglan person. It has very serious side effects. It can cause tardive dyskinesia in people with repeated doses. Just the neurological side effects overall, I don't like. Really, any nausea medicine has those side effects, but Reglan especially. And when the nurse came in and told me they gave her Reglan, I said, you already gave it to her? Did you ask her permission?
They did not.
They did not.
It is so
And they did not
scary.
tell me about it. So I said, I don't want to give this to her anymore. And the nurse goes, well, why not? I go, well, I have gastroparesis and I know a lot about Reglan. And she goes, actually, it could be really good for you because it helps motility. I go, no, I'm avidly against it. I was like, if I have gastroparesis and I won't take it, why would I let my 70-year-old immunocompromised mother take it?
Right. And why is she arguing? You're saying no. Right.
So she leaves. I call the doctor, right? The nurse intercepts my phone call.
Of course she does.
She comes storming in the room. She goes, are you the one who called and said no more Reglan? I was like, yes.
Didn't you just interact with me? Yes,
I was like,
it was me.
I wanted the doctor to know that we are not okay with it. She straight up looks at my mom and she says, this is why we don't let one person's opinion of something affect our decision, because sometimes a medicine can work. I wanted to be like, B, are you talking about me right in front of me to my mother?
That is so passive-aggressive and just so inappropriate and disrespectful.
Yes. And so not only were they switching her nausea medicine up on her, they weren't giving it to her on a consistent schedule. They weren't giving her pain medicine on a consistent schedule. And let me be clear here. She was not there for morphine or Dilaudid. My mom takes Tylenol with codeine every day. She has very severe chronic back pain. This is an issue separate from the pneumonia.
Right.
And she takes it every 4 hours. And all I said was, can she just get what she normally gets at home?
Right. Which
on
is
the schedule that she takes it?
Right. Because that's how she manages her pain.
Yes. And same thing with the nausea. Compazine is what she takes at home. So can she get it on a schedule like she takes it at home?
Wouldn't that be like the first thing that they would think?
I told every nurse on every shift, if you do not manage her pain and her nausea, those things, when my mom is in pain, her nausea flares, she won't eat.
Right.
Because they kept saying she can't go home, she's not eating. And nobody listened to me.
Oh my gosh.
So I tried calling the doctor. He only called me back once, and that was like the first day she was in there. And then I never could get a hold of him again. He never got back to me. None of the nurses listened to me. I actually went in, thanks to my friend Amanda for this advice, and I asked for all her assessments, her orders, and her notes. I said, I want a hard copy. Never got them. I asked twice. I kept asking for the charge nurse, and no one would point me in the direction of her because they knew I was going to cause a ruckus, you know?
Right. And you've had enough. This is like how many days was she in there? Thursday, Friday?
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 5.
5 days. So at this point, this is not like just a quick 24-hour trip.
Yeah.
Like you have been there.
I mean, and she it was like she was suffering. I
Yes.
literally watched my poor mother wither away to nothing and suffer. And I said to them, first of all, she's a picky eater. Stop bringing her whatever's for lunch or dinner that day.
Nobody wants mystery meat when they're nauseous.
Exactly. And I said,
Disgusting.
give her an option.
Yes.
It didn't matter. They kept bringing her. And you know what? I went there today and her dinner from last night was still sitting out. And the smell in the room, it smelled like chicken tenders that had been hospital chicken tenders that had been sitting out for.
And it's like the last thing she needs. You went to the hospital to get her care to improve what she had going on, and it just literally spiraled out of control.
Yeah, and it was ridiculous. And actually, she was getting discharged today, and I called ahead, and they were like, "Well, we don't have enough people, so you have to come up here to get her." I was like, "What? Okay." So I go up there, I change her. The tech comes in, and he goes, "What you didn't need to come up here." He goes, "I got her." He goes, "Quick, hurry up, run down the stairs. If it's less than 30 minutes in the parking garage, they won't charge you." I'm like, okay. So I'm running to the hospital. So I get to like the guy to check out of the parking garage, and he's like, "That'll be $5." I was like, "No, it won't. I've only been here for 15 minutes. He goes, "That's not the policy." I was like, "They falsely told me I needed to come up to get my mom discharged, but I didn't need to. So they told me as long as it was under 30 minutes, I could get out for free." And he's like, "Nope." So I give him my card, and I'm going to tell everybody what I told him off. And I feel bad because, you know, he got the brunt of my anger of
5 days of all this frustration. This guy.
I really said some very, very choice things to him and then just drove away. But man, did it feel good. So I will tell everyone, as much as we talk about advocating, I cannot get over how impossible it was to advocate for my mother's health. And I am going to be contacting the hospital on any form that I will call everybody I can get in touch with. I will find whoever the charge nurse is on that floor. I am going to tell everybody every thought that I had about her stay and how horrible it was and how she was mistreated. I don't even have words for this experience.
And honestly, I think what's so problematic about the entire thing is that this is supposed to be a space or a place for healing and for getting back to a better spot than when you arrived so you can feel better because these are people's precious lives. Yeah. It is so alarming that this was going down. And even when I came in with you that night and just watching it, like, their face, their interaction, like, sure, like, yes. And then nothing was happening. Nothing was happening. Or if it did, it was not what needed to be happening.
Yeah, it was disturbing, the level of care she received, the whole experience, the filth of the hospital, the level of care. We will never go there again. And I will call her doctors myself and say, I don't care if you're affiliated with them.
Right.
We're going to Strong next time.
Yeah, because that was, nobody deserves to go through that. And I'm glad you're sharing this all in such detail, because if you live local to this area, don't go there. Don't, because if you don't want to find yourself in that same type of position again.
No, honestly, there's no way to heal like that. Like she didn't sleep for 5 days. They didn't get her up to try and get her moving. She has bed sores on her back. Like they didn't even They were just brushed it off that she wasn't eating. They didn't even try. Like, they genuinely did not care about her.
And they never gave her any, I still can't get over the fluid thing.
Never gave her fluids.
It just is so bizarre to me. Like, you would think hydration is key. And I mean, I know they were saying something to you about having pneumonia, but it just didn't make sense. It just, things weren't adding
Every
up.
nurse I talked to was like, that sounds like bullshit.
I know.
So,
but she's finally home.
she's finally home. And I'll be really honest with everyone, she's really in rough shape. And it's going to take us a while to get her back to baseline because this hospital stay made her, yes, it healed her pneumonia,
Right.
but she lost so much weight and she's so fragile and weak and frail right now. And it's really hard to see as her daughter. And, you know, I really would like to go back to urgent care and her doctor and be like, you owe me for my 2 days that I had to take off of work here. Like, if you guys would have just caught this and we could have prevented this from the get-go, she wouldn't have had to spend 5 days in the hospital.
Right, exactly. At least swab her. I still can't believe that she saw her doctor on Monday, and then you ended up bringing her to the ER on Wednesday night. That's just really crazy. So it just shows, we talk about advocating for yourself and for others, but I mean, sometimes you do, and it's not enough.
Yeah.
And I do know that there's like a patient advocate.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So, and I remember our friend, Sally, who's a nurse, because I was checking in with all my nurse friends, and Sally, that was like her first suggestion if it wasn't going well. But did you have an experience with?
The nurse I talked to last night finally agreed with me. We got her on a schedule, and that's the med schedule stayed from the time I left about 5:00 yesterday to about 4:00 this morning, and then everything went off rails. But that's fine because I picked her up at 12:30.
Right, and she was out of there.
But just shows when a nurse shift happens, there shouldn't be like this much chaos and difference in care. You know what I mean? Like, one nurse to the next, it should be the same. The family has established this. It should have been established with the doctor, but clearly it wasn't.
Right.
It's just a mess.
Oh, what a frustrating experience.
And a really horrible week for me. And to be honest with you, I'm gearing up for round 3 of IVF, and I'm supposed to be completely stress-free right now. And that went out the window.
It did. And, I feel like, yes, tomorrow is a fresh week and it's a new start. But at the same point, it's like, you got to feel these emotions.
Yeah.
You and your mom. We love you, Aunt Tony.
I know.
And it just was so hard to watch both of you. It like broke my heart. I didn't even know what to do. I'm like, I'm just coming.
I know. It broke everybody's heart. And I am so grateful for all the people involved. Like, my neighbor, Deb, took my mom's puppy and still has my mom's puppy because she can't handle him right now. And we had my mom's older dog, and my dad helped with the older dog, and you helped me come to the hospital and deal with things there. And my aunt came for a little bit, and Anthony took 2 days off of work to manage all the animals. Like, it
takes
really
a village.
took a village, and I appreciate that village more than you'll ever know.
Yes. And I know Tony is going to be back and healing and feeling good soon, but it's just, I think I'm so glad you shared this today because people need to know. People need to know if you're stepping foot in that hospital, you don't want to have the same experience. Oh gosh. Well, that was a really
that was deep. Sorry, everyone.
But this is life, right? This is life. The ups and the downs and the reality of when you are dealing with parents who have things going on and being immune compromised. I know it. I'm immune compromised too, but it's very different when you're in your 70s versus
And unfortunately,
40.
my brother and my sister-in-law live in Florida, and I'm here, so I have to be the one to take care of everything. I had to go to her house and change all her bedding and clean her kitchen and clean her bathroom so she could come home to
like a clean space, especially after that being in that dirty.
I had to Lysol spray everything. I'm like, she's not coming home and getting sick again.
No, absolutely not. Well, now she's home, cozy in her bed with Miss Zoe.
I was very happy to have her mom back.
Oh, I'm sure. Poor thing. I know. Puppies know. Dogs know.
Yeah. Zoe's 16 years old. She's very attached to my mom.
She's probably so happy right now.
Yes. So happy.
Oh, well, all the good vibes, Tony, that you heal and you feel better soon. We love you and so sorry you went through all of this. Crazy. Crazy. All right.
Let's lighten things up a little.
Let's lighten things up a little bit. All right.
What's your rose?
Okay, so my rose is this weekend. I had a great weekend. My in-laws came to visit. My sister-in-law and my nieces came to visit. And it was just lots of family time, which was super fun. We went to Connor's game on Saturday and they watched him play football. And then today we went to Brockport to watch my nieces do their Irish dancing, which is so wild. It is like the coolest thing to watch. And I'm just so proud of them. And it was really just fun to have a nice weekend together as a family. So
glad you guys had a nice weekend.
Yeah, it was good. But we were all saying, the girls were saying as we're leaving Brockport today, like, can we, next time we come, can we have like no sports plans? Like, nothing for Connor, nothing for the girls, just because everybody wanted to stay up late last night. And we all had to be up early, you know? I mean, granted, a few select of us accidentally stayed up a bit late. Not mentioning any names, but
one might start with an L and end with an Oren.
But it was a really good weekend. It was a good weekend. Good. So what about yours, bro? Okay, what are you having this mess of a week?
You're going to die because it's the most ridiculous rose ever. You're going to die, but my sister-in-law is in her glory right now with my rose.
Okay.
So I decided to listen to the new Taylor Swift album.
Okay, and?
Because I was like, you know what? I just need, like, everybody's talking about it. Let me just whatever. I loved it.
Oh, yeah?
I did. And here's why. I relate to it because this is her. I didn't believe in marriage and I was going to be alone forever and I was okay with it, but I actually found my love and I'm so happy. So it was an album about finally finding your love and being so happy. And like, I relate to that so hard.
You literally just lived that these past couple of years.
Every song, everything she said, like I told Anthony, one of the lyrics was like, want to have a bunch of kids and have the whole neighborhood looking like you. I'm like, yes, that's my goal right now.
You're speaking to my soul.
So of course I texted my sister-in-law Piper and I'm like, I listened to the Taylor Swift album and I loved it. She's like, oh my God, what are your favorite songs? We were up all night dancing to it. She's like, I saw the movie. I'm going to call you and tell you every meaning behind every song. And then can we do this? Can we finally do this? She's like, I'll tell you every album and what everything means. And we're going to do this. I'm like, all right, Piper, I'll give in to you.
Here we go. I love this for you. I love this for both of you, Piper. This is a win for you.
So she called me today and she was like, okay, do you know what this song means? And like, she's telling me all the meanings behind them. And I was like, well, I kind of figured that one out, but I didn't know about that one. So, you know, like weird rose, but it just shows like in the darkest of times, you can find something really small to like just, okay, this is light and easy and makes me feel just slightly better.
Yeah. And it really just shifts your focus, right? It shifts your focus, shifts your attention, gets your mind thinking about something else, because I feel like a lot of what was going on, you were in control, but you weren't in control, right?
Exactly. Well, I felt out of control completely, which I had that conversation with my brother yesterday. Actually, I had a nervous breakdown. I called him hysterically crying. And he's like, okay, let's take a deep breath and let's talk about what we can control and we can't control.
Yes, you know, the circle. What's in the circle of control? What is in the outside of your circle of control?
So he helped me through. But Taylor Swift helped me through, which is crazy because for those of you who don't know, I have previously been a Swift hater.
Yes, you have. I know. This is why I'm shocked.
At my wedding, I was like, absolutely no Taylor Swift and absolutely no Justin Bieber. Yes. And now here I am listening to the Taylor Swift.
But it just shows we are ever evolving and growing and changing. And with that, you know, you're more open to checking things out. New things, right?
My mind's always open.
Yes. Just shows you've grown so much room.
I mean, I don't know if I'll ever be a full-fledged Swiftie, but you never know.
There you go.
Could be in my cards.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. Oh, well, that was a nice light rose. All right. I love it. Well, let's get into it today.
Right.
So I'm excited for this. So this week, our theme is the guts to say no.
And we are going to unpack the ideas of setting boundaries and learning to say no without guilt at work, with family, with friends, and even with yourself.
Yeah, so you know me, I'm going to kick us off with a quote.
So we should create a Lauren quote book.
I know, and I do feel like some people will be like, oh, you quoted this, or do you know who said this quote? So I legit have like books that are full of quotes.
Yeah.
So sometimes these quotes resonate with me and I don't always know who say them. Or the context, but I just really latch onto the quotes and assign my own meaning.
That's what I love about you.
So here we go. So this quote says, setting healthy relationships relationship boundaries is a radical act of self-care. And this quote came from one of our favorite teachers, Gabby Bernstein. And honestly, it stopped me in my tracks when I heard that.
A lot of things Gabby says stop me in my tracks.
Yes, yeah.
Because we really do. We live in a culture that really doesn't teach us how to set boundaries from the time we're little, right? We're told to hug a relative even when we don't want to, or to adulthood where we keep saying yes just to keep the peace. We are taught really that boundaries are selfish.
Yes, we really are. But the truth is the opposite is true. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're actually the foundation of healthy relationships. They help us figure out who we are, what we value, and what we're not willing to tolerate anymore.
Exactly. And when we set them, we protect our energy, we honor our needs, and we show up more authentically in actually every part of our lives.
Yes. And I think the hard part is actually setting those boundaries, especially for those of us who are natural people pleasers or peacekeepers. It's really hard. I mean, I'm not just staring at one right across from me right now.
I know. Like, I actually should just get a sweatshirt that says people pleaser and wear it around.
You should. A little sash.
God, Jesus, really though. And it's uncomfortable, but it's also where so much healing begins, especially if you're living with a chronic illness or trying to manage your energy day to day.
Yeah. So in today's episode, we're talking all about having the guts to say no, how to set boundaries without guilt, how to protect your energy and create space for more peace and joy in your life.
So let's dive in.
All right. When we had to say no, let's do it.
Okay. So I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
What's a recent no that felt hard but necessary?
Okay. So this is very recent. This is like a couple of weeks ago. So our cousin's wife is pregnant and there was a baby shower in the Albany area. And I love her, but the weekend that this baby shower fell on was right at the start of school, so September. Connor had a football game, and there was stuff I knew, we both know, having chronic diseases, your body takes time to readjust to getting back into the swing of things. And for me, I knew going in the middle of September, away for the weekend, I would love to go and be there and see everyone and support her and be with the family. But I knew that if I did, I would be wearing myself down. I knew I was just getting back into the swing of things with work. I also didn't want to miss one of Connor's football games because he's the quarterback. So I ended up literally saying no. And it's so funny. Sean didn't even realize it was like going on. He thought I wasn't invited because I didn't. Of course I'm invited. Been in O'Reilly for a long time. But it wasn't, I didn't even have to talk it out. I didn't even feel any guilt. I knew that my body and my mind would not be able to handle going away for that weekend, and sent my love and sent a gift and left it at that. And I just knew I had to put me first.
Yeah. And that's such a good example because it shows it's not always about the big no's. It's sometimes the small ones that actually teach us to trust ourselves again.
Yes, absolutely. So what about you, Rome?
You know, I'm thinking about this and like, I actually can give this through the past year because IVF has made life in general so hard. And like, I can't tell you how many times, I mean, like off the top of my head, the biggest example that sticks out is Anthony being offered shows. And we've had to say no because we can't risk getting sick.
Right.
And like, I've said no to so many getaways with friends or outings or dinners out because I have to protect my health. I have to protect my energy and I need to keep my stress to a minimum. And sometimes for me, that means I know I need to sleep. Like we talked about this in the last episode. If it's going to ruin my sleep and then I have a 5-day work week following it, I'm going to say no because I have to priority. Like my body needs to like be in this cycle of healing. And we talk about too, like a boundary. Sometimes you have to say no to yourself. Like that just happened to me this week.
Yes.
Like I had to say no to like relaxing, which I really needed because work has been really stressful lately. And I needed to sit around. I needed to sleep. I needed to watch my new shows that are just coming back. And I didn't do any of that because I was at the hospital, at my mom's house, running back and forth, taking care of animals. It was literally go, 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 other people, and I had to put myself last. So those were two examples, like the IVF situation where we've had to say no to so many things. And then this week where I had to say no to myself.
Right. And then sometimes we have to literally, like, it's life or death, right? And sometimes you're put in a position where you have to honestly say no to yourself, but then it's what you do now that it's kind of the calm after the really wild hospital storm. How do you take care of you this week? What do you do?
Getting my nails done.
There you go. Okay.
I'm also meeting with a holistic fertility coach who may or may not be on the podcast sometime soon.
Ooh, love it.
So I am doing some things. I have therapy this week. So all things that will fill me back up.
Yeah. And you're being intentional with your time. So when you do get that breathing space, then you really focus and think about the little things that you can do to make yourself feel better and to shift, because there's nothing more important than feeling good.
That is true.
Yes. And I think this is kind of where we should start. Why it feels so hard to say no in the first place, whether it's to yourself or to somebody else.
And for me, it's people pleasing. I hate with everything I have in me letting people down, especially when I know I could make it work if I just push myself a little harder.
I know, but then we pay the price, right? We pay the price in exhaustion and resentment, even physical symptoms. And saying yes when we mean no is basically a fast track to burnout.
Yeah. And then there's the guilt hangover too. Like, oh, did I just hurt someone's feelings?
I know. And then that eats you alive, right? And I honestly, I read something, I don't know when it was, a while ago, and it said, every time you say yes to something misaligned, you're saying no to yourself. Isn't that crazy?
That's
I'm going to say that
real.
again. Every time you say yes to something misaligned with who you are, you're saying no to yourself. And that one really stuck with me. And I think it's just so important that even if we do, right, if we're saying yes to things and we don't really know that it's in our best interest or we want to do it, I think it's just important to not beat ourselves up for it, right? And not hate on ourselves, but instead be easy with yourself and shift and recognize, right?
Yeah.
Because there is quite the ripple effect when you say no.
Yes. And let's talk about what happens when we don't say no.
Resentment, burnout, snapping at the people we love.
Yes.
Sorry, Sean.
Sorry, Anthony.
They really do get the brunt of everything.
Because we live with them.
Yes. Okay, so I'm just going to pause and tell a really quick story from this weekend. So I may have been running like a crazy person all weekend, and I may have been washing the dishes late in the night, last night, and I may have accidentally sliced my finger.
Oh, no.
And it was one of those moments where I just cried like real hard about my finger, but it really, my finger hurt and I was bleeding, but it was just like it's been a busy, crazy couple of days, and I just was like crying. So Sean comes in from the garage. He's like, are you crying? I go, yes, I hurt my finger. And here I am, this emotional. And he's like, what is going on? I was a little irrational last night. So anyway, I'm taking it out on, not that I'm taking it out on Sean, but he's feeling the effects of it when I get emotional, So,
yesterday, I've already said this, but Anthony was at work and my brother got that. He got that phone call from me where I was hysterically crying. And it was so ridiculous because I was like, the dogs. I was like, I have to take Luca to the vet and Zoe's 16 years old. She can't be home by herself and she hasn't eaten in 5 days. And he's like, okay. So Dad lives down the street. He could take Zoe.
Let's give him a call.
No problem. He goes, have you tried to feed Zoe? I was like, yes. He's like, okay, she'll eat when she's ready. He's like, it's going to be okay. Take a deep breath. He goes, do you need me to call Dad? I was like, no, I can call Dad. He goes, see? Look how fast we resolved that.
Very solution focused, Michael. Thank you.
Okay? He's like, you're going to be okay. Take a deep breath. You're going to be fine. He goes, and then the whole hospital situation that's stressing you out, you got this. He did give me some advice to be not nice, but I was like, that's not really me, but I will handle things.
Yeah.
And if I need someone to be mean, I'll call you and you can, on speakerphone, tell them off.
There you go. See, you're letting his guidance wash through you, and then you're making the moves based on how you feel. So I think very smart, very smart.
Yep. And then ironically, the relationships we were trying to protect by saying yes, they actually get strained.
Right. So you say yes, and then you're like, got that resentment towards that person, or you just feel annoyed or you feel frustrated.
Like,
and that's really bad.
Think about a time where you said yes to something and the whole time you're sitting there going, I don't want to be here right now. I don't want to be here right now. And you're thinking about that so much that you don't even enjoy your time.
Right. Exactly. And I feel like that's what happens. We start showing up half present, half done, half-hearted, and saying yes to everything means we literally have nothing left for what really matters. And that's ourselves. And because honestly, you legit cannot pour from an empty cup.
Nope.
You can't. You got to fill your cup up, right?
Like
it's like on the airplane, you put on your own oxygen mask when the plane's going down before other people. You've got to be able to breathe, people.
Yeah, you do.
I'm talking to myself mostly in this moment.
It's breathe more
and give yourself some oxygen, Jesus. All right, well, let's talk about boundaries versus barriers.
So I think people confuse boundaries with barriers, like saying no means you're shutting people out.
Right, but boundaries are actually the opposite. They're what make they are what make healthy connections possible.
Yeah.
And it's almost that shift in perspective, right?
Yeah. Like, I love you, but I also love myself.
Yeah, and boundaries can sometimes look like leaving work on time.
I actually worked on this in therapy a lot because at my previous school, you remember how I was. I burnt myself out, man. I was like lesson planning till 8:00 at night. Like it was too much. And my therapist was like, you need to do work when you're paid to do work, when you're at work. She goes, and if it cannot get done when you're at work, then you'll do the best you can.
Right. And it does get done. It's just like reframing your time and how you spent when you are there, when you are at work.
Like my lunch break is spent working.
Right, because you'd rather spend your lunch break. Right.
But I'm changing my slides for the next day and I'm answering emails and
you're being efficient with your time. You're maximizing your time. And I think that is so important. I remember the same thing when I first started teaching. I was there hours and hours. I would go in on the weekend. And now when you know better, you do better,
I leave work at 3:29.30. Like, so that way I'm in my car at 3:30.
Yes, driving
Because
away.
you know what, though? I have animals at home.
Yes.
I have a husband at home. I have a home.
Yes.
I want to have a snack, and I can't have a snack if it's past 4:30. So I'm going to be home by 4 so I can eat my snack.
Right, exactly. You have to put those things in perspective. And I think, too, for me, I don't know why I was talking to my class about this week, but I think it was a mathematical equation or a word problem of some sort. And we were doing the math. Oh, it was elapsed time, how much time we spend together as a class. And we read the story, Our Class as a Family.
Oh, I just read that last week.
Did you? It's such
2
a
weeks
good
ago.
one. It is. And it really talks about how your child and us as teachers, we spend more time at school than we do with our husbands and our wives and our our
children.
kids.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. And it's just really wild to think. We did the math, and I'm like, so guys, we are a family, so we've got to get along, right?
Yeah.
And that just kind of puts things in perspective, doesn't it? Right?
It really does.
So for me, it's like, okay, I've spent all day with you guys. I want to get home and see Connor. I want to pick him up. I want to ask him about his day. Our hours after work are so precious.
Yeah.
And this is like such a unique time, you know what I mean? So we have to be mindful of that. And I think, so those are just like time boundaries, right?
Yeah.
But then there's emotional boundaries. This is my new one. I've been setting a lot of emotional boundaries, and it's basically not absorbing someone else's stress. So it just intentionally setting up that boundary of, I'm not going to keep engaging with the same person about the same stress in their life because it's not serving me and I can't help them anymore, So it's to that point. I'm sure we've all been there at some place where you have to set up that emotional boundary and just be like, I'm here for you, but to an extent, right?
Can I be honest? I suck at this one.
Do you?
Yeah, I have to get better about this. I
asked you, do you? I know you do.
Yeah, I do. I need to just start being like, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Yes.
Your stress is stressing me out.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be stressed out right now.
Right. And it's okay to say that. It's okay to say that in a respectful way.
Yes, it has nothing to do. It doesn't mean I don't love you. It doesn't mean I don't care about what you're going through. It means I have enough going on in my life that I have to worry about. I can't take on what's also going on in your life. And I'm sorry for that. But if I'm ever feeling, I need to work on saying, I don't want to do this with you. If I'm ever feeling in the mood to problem solve with you, I will let you know.
Right. Right, exactly. And I think it's just validating how you're feeling. And then when you do that, even though it may feel a little uncomfortable, right? Setting that, emotional boundary or that energetic boundary. But in the end, it's going to benefit everyone involved, even though it may not feel like it in the moment. And I think the other boundary is financial ones, right? It's okay to say, I can't contribute to that right now, or say no to doing something that, maybe it's not, maybe you have the money, but that money could be spent elsewhere, or maybe you really don't have the money. And it's okay to say, I can't do that right now. I can't contribute. I can't go there.
Yeah.
It's okay saying that as long as that feels good to you,
Our best friend, Kristen, her birthday is in December, and she's choosing to spend it in New York City with everybody. And I have to say no, because once Anthony and I sat down and looked at all our IVF stuff, we can't afford it right now.
Right.
And I want to be there more than anything, but bringing a baby into this world is way more important for us right now.
Right. And it's a priority. And it doesn't mean that you love her any less, right? It's just a matter of, and that's what true friendship is being understanding and putting yourself in each other's shoes and knowing where you're coming from, Oh my gosh, speaking of that, it feels like we were just axe throwing at Kristen's last birthday. Remember we did axe throwing?
We did, yeah. That was
fun. A fun one.
That was fun.
That was a fun one for sure. So, all right. So here you are. You're in a situation where you need to say no. So we kind of got some examples for you, or some scripts for you to use when you're in this position.
Yeah. And let's make it practical, because sometimes you want to say no, but you don't know how.
Right. So here are a few things that kind of have helped me. That sounds great, but I don't have the bandwidth right now.
That's a good one.
I say that a lot. I just don't have the bandwidth right now to think about that, to do that, to go there, to problem solve this with you, right? I just don't have the bandwidth. So that's a favorite of mine. Another one I like is, thank you for thinking of me, but I need to pass at this time.
That's a good one too.
Yeah. Thank you for including me, but I can't right now.
Right.
And that's okay. I'm thanking them. I'm appreciative, but I can't do it right now. I love this one. I want to support you, but I can't take this on personally right now. Can I help you find someone who can? Maybe a therapist.
I love those, especially the one about helping find someone else, because it keeps the connection while holding your limit.
Yes, exactly. Boundaries with kindness. You can do it. We're doing it. You can too.
I'm working on it.
All right, but what if we have pushback?
Yeah. So what about when people don't like your no? Because let's be real, not everyone will applaud your new boundary.
Nope, they sure won't. So family, coworkers, even friends, sometimes they'll test it.
And that's
passive aggressive about it.
Yes. And that's where the magic phrase comes in. I understand that's disappointing, but my decision's the same. No explanation, no apology. This took me a lot of therapy to realize, but it's actually pretty powerful.
It is. Thank you, Rachel. That's her therapist. And mine too. It is. It's yes, yes, yes. I can't say yes enough to that. The less we justify, the more confident we feel in our decisions. And I'm all about saying, my favorite is, that doesn't bring me joy.
Yeah, no.
It does not bring me joy. Like, I can tell you that I don't like ice skating anymore. It does not bring me joy.
No,
right?
It never brought me joy.
Well, it did bring me joy at one time. My mom loved skating. My brother loved skating. My brother was visiting last Christmas and they really wanted to go skating. And time is limited when my brother is visiting. But you know what needed to happen is I had to say, that does not bring me joy. I'm not going. And it's like, but wait, your brother's here for this amount of time and this and that. It doesn't bring me joy. And guess what happened? They both ended up in urgent care.
Yeah, exactly.
So I tried to tell you guys that it's not going to bring, it doesn't bring me joy, but apparently it doesn't bring the two of them joy either, because mom had some type of like head injury and Kevin hurt his shoulder. I'm like, you two are two peas in a pod over there. So now guess what? Nobody's ice skated since then. And I'm feeling like, I don't know, confidently I'll have to ask if they feel like ice skating brings them joy or not. Maybe the idea of it does, but.
Like, the older I get too, I realize not a lot brings me joy anymore. Yeah, here's what brings me joy. My pajamas, my bed, my couch, Netflix, my Kindle, and my husband.
Right? And look, and you just hammered that out like that. So
And
fast.
my fur babies.
Of course. Yes. It's like I think as we evolve and we change and we grow, right? We prioritize.
I know Connor's obsessed with football right now. So if Connor wanted to go to a Bills game, you would go. But right now, if someone was like, hey, we have 2 free tickets to a Bills game. Do you guys want to go? I'd be like, that literally brings me zero joy. No, thank you. Never.
Yes, right?
Last time I went to a Bills game, I fell asleep on a patch of grass at halftime. So no, I'll pass.
You sure did. And I left. And I went back on the bus. I'm like, I got to go get another snack that's free on our bus.
Yes. So I have to honor that. It's just too much time. I can't handle that. And I'm going to get home late. I can't do it. No.
Right. And that's just how we feel. Remember, if you would have went back in time and told 20-something Stef and Lauren what our favorites would be and what would bring us joy, we'd be like, no way.
Right.
We would never feel that way. But here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. Here we are. All right. Let's talk about the benefits of saying no.
Yeah. So when you start saying no from a place of self-respect, everything changes. You have more peace, you have more energy, and you have more joy.
Clearly, because you're doing things that bring you joy, staying away from things that don't bring you joy. And you start realizing that your yeses mean something again because they come from alignment, not obligation. And when I say like alignment, what I visualize is like you're aligned with your true self, with who you are and what you want to do in your life. You are aligned. And you know when you're aligned because you feel so good. You feel at peace. Even if there's a little like resistance when you're saying no, but that peace does come because you are taking care of you. And I promise you, the more you say no and you choose yourself and you do things that you want to do, the better you feel.
Yeah. And saying no is actually one of the most loving things you can do for yourself and for everyone around you.
Yes. So I feel like this is such a refreshing conversation. It really is. But I feel like we need to hear from our listeners.
Yeah, we want to hear from you. So I want you to DM us or reply to our email this week and tell us, what's the hardest no you've ever had to say?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Have you ever said yes but wished you'd said no?
I'm sure we all have 500 million times we've done that, right?
And do you have a go-to phrase for saying no that helps you hold your boundary?
Yes, I love that. And you know what? Here's the thing. We might even share some of your stories in an upcoming episode or on our social media because this is something I think we all struggle with. And I just want to add with our email list, if you're on it, all you do is hit an easy reply and you can tippity type right back to us.
Tippity type.
Tippity type, type.
You've been saying that since college, by the way.
I really have.
So here's your challenge this week. Notice when you're saying yes, when you really mean no, and give yourself permission to make a different choice.
Because saying no doesn't make you difficult. It makes you honest. And it gives you the guts to live in alignment. I love that. We're being honest. It's okay.
I'm making a heart symbol over here.
Yes, I love it. So just as we wrap up today's conversation, I keep thinking about
another quote.
Shocking. When you say no to something that drains you, you're saying yes to something that nourishes you.
Yes. I felt that in my soul because I need nourishment right now.
Yes. And it's unknown, so I don't know who to credit. I'm always wondering, like, there's so many unknowns out there.
Maybe Taryn will call us out on this one too. She'll be like, how do you guys not know who said that?
I know. She's a librarian. So I feel like she's just really immersed in the quote world. And I'm just pulling them off the page randomly and assigning my own meaning to them.
Yep.
But I do love this reminder because saying no isn't rejection. It's redirection. So I'm going to say that again. Saying no is not you rejecting something or someone. It's just redirection. It's choosing to honor where your energy truly belongs. And you're in charge of your energy. You get to decide.
Yes, because every time we protect our peace, we're making space for what really matters: our health, our relationships, and our joy.
Yes, and that's the heart of this whole conversation. Boundaries aren't walls. Like, I don't want you to think about boundaries as like you're laying the brick wall, right?
That's a huge misconception.
It is, right? It's not like you're blocking people out or like keeping people away, but boundaries they're not walls. They're doors that open to a calmer, more aligned version of yourself. So visualizing it like, yes, you have those boundaries, but you have that door that you can go in and out. People can come in and out, but you get to decide what that looks like for you, right?
Yep. And sometimes it's as simple and as hard as remembering, right? I have a quote.
All right, give it to us, Rome.
No is a complete sentence.
I love that.
That's by Anne Lamott.
N-O period.
Yep. And you know what? It's short, it's powerful, and it's something we all need to practice saying out loud. And this was one of the very first things I learned in therapy, because when I got sick, I had an invisible illness, and I felt the need to be like, no, because I'm throwing up and I've lost all this weight and I can't eat and I can't do this.
Yes.
I didn't need to tell anybody that. No.
Right.
Nope.
Nobody needs to know your explanation, right? Yes. I feel like no over-explaining, no guilt, just self-respect and clarity, right? And I feel like I literally am feeling it today. I just ran myself ragged, right? Yeah. And because I'm living with a chronic disease, I tried to run today and I had the worst run ever. I was supposed to run 6 miles. I could barely do 3. It's that invisible illness. Like, people look at me and they're like, you look fine. You seem great. But you had no idea that I couldn't get dinner down last night. You have no idea that when everybody was enjoying my mother-in-law's delicious apple crisp, I couldn't even think about swallowing it. I couldn't get anything down last night. Yeah. And people don't always, they see me and they see that I'm happy and I'm smiling, but they don't realize how hard it was last night for me. I could not get the food down. And I still haven't eaten since yesterday at noon. And today, I don't even know what time it is, 5, 6 in the evening. So it just shows so many of you out there have these invisible illnesses, and just know that you can say no. Yeah. And it is a complete sentence.
Yeah. And when we get comfortable saying no, we're really saying yes to peace, to authenticity, and to living from our truth.
Exactly. And that's what it means to have the guts to say no. I love it. I feel like we're always saying guts now.
I know. Let's wrap it into find a way to put it in everything.
Me too. Well, we hope you found this beneficial today. And we look forward to hearing from you through our email or on our social media platforms, to just let us know about, how are you saying no these days?
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear back from
if you got some good, catchphrases on top of the ones we just gave you, I'd love to hear those.
Yeah, fire them away.
I always need some in my catalog.
There you go,
brain.
Right? I love that, your filing cabinet in here.
I'll open it up and be like, ooh, got this new one.
Let me file that under C.
Exactly.
All right. Well, if you've been enjoying this podcast, the best way you can support us is by leaving a 5-star rating and a written review wherever you listen to your podcasts. And that's really is the only way we can reach more people, grow the show, and keep having these important conversations.
Yes. And if you go to our show notes or social media to sign up for our email list, it is the best way to keep up with everything we've been up to. Episode drops and avoiding getting lost in the ever-changing social media algorithms. And you can follow us at I've Got Guts Podcast on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook.
And you can email us at I've Got Guts Podcast at gmail.com.
See you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.